Hi everyone, today I've actually got some cake and I've also made myself a hot chocolate, and I'm going to eat my cake and drink this while I talk to you about my current writing projects and everything like that. I should probably move that coaster forward actually, because I don't want to keep leaning over. As some of you will know, I have been editing Secrets of a Singer, and I have also, what have I also been doing? I've also been writing Adrenaline Rush for NaNoWriMo, because I'm currently filming this video in November. I thought, why not? But while that's been happening, let me finish my mouthful first. While that's been happening, I have also gotten a lot of new novel ideas, and so I thought I would share them with you today. Let me finish this cake first though, because this is so good. Is it weird that I'm filming myself eating? Nah, it's my breakfast. It's alright, sometimes I have some weird things for breakfast, like pizza. My mum's bacon, 10 out of 10. So as I was saying, I have been doing a lot of work on the Secret series, and next door banging? Yeah, they're banging. Not entirely sure what they're banging, but does that matter right now? No, because I'm about to talk about all of the novels that I want to write in my lifetime. So, starting off with the Secret series, I just haven't really been editing any of Secrets of a Singer at the moment. I've been more focused on writing Adrenaline Rush. The Secrets of a Singer Undercover is still in the outlining process. That's taking me a really long time, and yeah, I just don't have a lot to say about it apart from the fact that I am really excited for the new year, because I think that in the new year I will definitely be getting to the point of actually writing the second book in the Secret series. I'm really excited. And then we have Secrets of a Married Woman, which is the third book in the series, and I'm actually kind of thinking of this kind of like SOES, SOASU and SOAMW. I'm kind of thinking that those are all prequels, and then the main book is Secrets of a Teenager, which is the next book, which is like the main book. And then Secret Series Book 5, I don't have a title for yet. I still can't figure out what to call it. I'm really struggling. If you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to know your suggestions. I probably will talk about the book 5 in a lot more detail when I'm closer to the time of actually outlining it and planning on writing it, which I'm hoping will be next year maybe. Maybe I'm too hopeful in that sense, but I'm really excited for the Secret series. I actually started working on this series September 2016, or Secrets of a Singer anyway, so it's been a really long process, but I'm getting there, and my laptop's turned itself off. Oh well. I love a good hot chocolate. And I think that the Secret series is probably going to be the first thing I would ever publish. I'm not entirely sure actually. I do have a lot of other projects I want to work on. I definitely want to work on a few more books before I would start thinking of publishing. But for the time being, I'm really happy with everything. It's a long process, but it's all worth it. Well, I think I'm currently on chapter 22 of editing. I still have a long way to go. I've got another 2/3 to do. I guess the next 3 books are kind of in the same series, but not. I don't know if you'd understand me in that sense. So the next 3 books I have definitely talked about in previous videos. The first one is Royals of Adine. I'm not entirely sure if I've actually talked about this in a really long time, but basically in September, I started working on Royals of Dine, and it's a fantasy book, and I'm hoping it's going to be an adult book. I just feel like my maturity level is quite high, so I have the maturity level of an adult, so my reading audience would definitely be adult more than young adult. Royals of Dine is essentially about this royal family, and there is an element of magic in this book, I'm hoping. And what kind of happens is the oldest princess is kicked out of the castle, and she then has to discover who she really is, and she kind of figures out a lot that she didn't know before, and she meets this kind of like undercover prince, I guess, called Richard, but we call him Rich. He is basically the prince of a next door city, like a next door village, county, whatever, and he's been kicked out for a long time. He's not going back, and Richard and the princess kind of not clash in a way, but they get along really well, and she didn't actually get chucked out. She goes to discover the mystery of her brother's death, which is kind of the biggest part of the book. And Royals of Dine is actually set in the 1800s. I think that I need to read some more fantasy books before I actually start writing that. So it's going to be a while before I actually start on that. The series that I'm currently working on, which is the Out of the World series, there are only 2 books in. There are only 2 books that I want to be in the series. But it kind of links to Royals of Dine because they're both of the books are set in the same place, and that is like the county of Dine, the village of Dine. I'm really not sure, but obviously Royals of Dine is more set in the castle and the forest of Dine, and then Adrenaline Rush and Dopamine Surge are more set in the urban side of Dine. Adrenaline Rush is a book I'm currently working on, and then Dopamine Surge is obviously the second book in the Out of the World series. It's essentially where the main character goes through exactly the same things as her mother did in the first book, and I think that's why I really like this series, because I feel like genetics are a big part of life. However, I do have a lot of standalone books that I would really like to write. I think that standalone books work a lot better than series books because you don't have to put so much work into them and you're not doing so much at once. This first one I actually got when I was kind of staring at the moon one night, like coming back home. It was so weird and I don't know why. I got a really good idea to base a story, a novel, a book, whatever you want to call it, on kind of like the moon and the sun, I guess. And like I said, I got the idea coming home one night from a quiz night that me and my sister actually did with my nan and granddad. Me and my sister both went with my nan and granddad to a quiz night, and the book, I've actually got a title for it, and it's Luna and Sol. I know in a lot of Latin languages, Luna means moon and Sol means sun. And what actually happens, or what I want to happen in this book, is basically Sol is one of the protagonists, and so is Luna. And Luna is meant to be the upcoming reign of the throne, or heir of the throne, of like the goddess. She's meant to be the new goddess of the moon. Soul's mother does not want this to happen, so she sends Soul down to Earth because they actually live in Olympus, so it does have a bit of Greek mythology in it, but I love Greek mythology, and actually including Greek mythology in a book is all I've ever wanted to do, actually. And I have actually started outlining this book, but I need to come up with some more ideas to continue outlining. And she sends Soul down to Earth to kill Luna, or no, not to kill Luna, but to bring her up to Selene. She sets out to kill Luna, and so she sends Soul down to Earth to get her and take her back up to Olympus, and then Selene or Selena will kill her in order to gain immortality, so she can reign over as goddess of the moon forever, essentially. The next kind of like book title I have down here on my little notes, which you can't see, is I Want to Be More Like Him. And this book, what happens is, or kind of like the plot, I guess. Basically there's this girl, and her brother has recently just died. She basically wants to be a lot more like her brother, and she wants to bring him back to life. So she essentially becomes what her brother was, and she gives up her life to be like him. Then his best friend turns up, and everything just kind of goes from there. And then the next idea I got a lot of these ideas on the bus, apart from Luna and Soul. And actually, it's like on the bus, it's such a mundane task for me now, but for some reason I get so many ideas when I'm on the bus for novels and book ideas. And seeing Ghosts or We Found Love, I actually got the idea for that on the bus. I was basically sat next to this, well, not sat next to, he was like a seat away from me. He had rugby shorts on, rugby trainers on. Like, I don't think they were studded, I just think they were trainers. Can't actually remember, but he had really hairy legs, and he had like a big ginger beard, and for some reason, like, his kind of like rugby attire just made me think of my ex. And that's essentially what the book is about. A girl's ex-boyfriend dies of suicide, and she basically thinks she starts seeing him again, and she does, but he's not actually there. And that's kind of the main point of the story. And she's then left to discover if he really is dead or not, and he is dead, but he's still there with her, and they fall in love again. And throughout the book, the girl kind of develops PD, which is panic disorder, and doctors misdiagnose her with schizophrenia. And because all of this is happening, she kind of feels like she's lost her place in the world, and she wants to be with her ex. She has to be in the same world as him for that to happen. But I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to say what happens, because I'm sure it'll change. And it might change. I don't actually know. The next idea I actually got from a dream, and the title I've actually given this novel idea is All We Need Is Love. And essentially, two families go away on a holiday, and the main girl and the main boy from the other family, they know each other from college, and they're just friends. They don't really like each other. They hate each other, essentially. Hate is a really strong word. I would not use that word. They just don't like each other. They don't get along at the beginning of the book. They don't get along in the beginning at all. And throughout the book that kind of changes, and the main girl's brother bonds really well with the main boy's brother because they're both gay, or one of them's bi, one of them's gay anyway. So they bond. That's one kind of like love subplot. It's essentially about the journey between a girl and boy, about going from hate to love and discovering themselves as well. The holiday they actually have is in this massive cabin in the middle of the woods, which is near a beach, and it's also near like a footpath so they can go for walks and everything like that. The boy and girl end up getting along really well, and All We Need Is Love is going to be really heavily religious. So Christianity, because I'm a Christian. The next book I actually got the idea for, the next book idea I actually got when I was in Tenerife, and it's called Lost in the Stars. Basically what happens is there's this like 20-year-old girl that is studying volcanology and seismology at uni, and her uni is actually quite far away from where she lives because she lives in the middle. She essentially lives in a valley between two mountains, and one of them is called Aldame, which is believed to be just a mountain, but little do they know it's actually a dormant volcano. And the girl, the uni student, actually installs a tiltmeter on the side of the Aldame mountain, or Mount Aldame, and that is kind of when she figures that it's more than just a mountain. The rest of the story goes from there. I think I will go through the older books now. So Arden's Theory I actually started working on a really long time ago, and then I just kind of stopped because I did not have an outline for it. I had a very brief idea of what I wanted it to be like, and I just kind of stopped at like 20,000 words. I think it was. I do really want to rework it and rewrite it. I want to outline it as well, and it's essentially about this girl called Arden who lives in the UK. It's basically about this earthquake that happens, and a series of events happens after that, and Arden is the one to... She also has a stepdad that's a seismologist. Arden knows quite a lot about like earthquakes and volcanoes and everything like that, like a bit like me, I guess, but not. Yeah, her stepdad is a seismologist and he works from home, so he has this like basement office, and that's where he works and gathers information on his seismograph and seismometer and everything like that, and kind of just goes from there. Then we have the paramedic. I'm not going to talk about this one because basically it's just about this paramedic that starts out at a new job and she's kind of thrown into it. She has two teenage boys that are idiots essentially, and one day the boys' school is closed for some reason. I can't figure out yet, but the boys' school is closed, so they go and do some work experience with their mum. The other book is called The Swimmer. I'm a bit more excited about this one. Basically, there's this girl has been swimming for a really long time, and all of a sudden her ankles start getting really tight and her joints are getting really stiff, and she's slowing down her swim. She's slowing down, and it's another romance, so there's no surprise there. And her swimming coach her family know of a boy called Luca that's the son of a hydrotherapist. Luca basically helps the girl get back on track. And then the last two books are actually very new ideas. So the first one is no filter. And basically, there's this autistic boy that in secondary school, he had no filter at all. Everything that came to his mind, he would say out loud, and he would get in a lot of trouble for it. And I don't have any names yet, so throw some at me. And when he starts college, he basically decides to become a selective mute. So he doesn't talk to anyone at all, really. But there's this new boy that he seems to bond with without talking to. And this autistic boy is like bi or gay, I'm not entirely sure because my phone's not on. What happens is this new boy gets him talking and things start coming out, and there's this fit girl in their class that the other boy starts dating, and then, should I say this? She suddenly commits suicide or takes her own life. This other boy is devastated, and so the main character is then left to pick up the pieces, and I think the story just will go from there, to be honest. I'm really excited about this new idea. I think it will raise good awareness. I'm just so excited. And to be honest, I have no filter either, so I'm kind of relating to this character before I've even outlined or done anything else with the idea. Honestly, like right now I'm having no filter. I find that in a lot of my videos sometimes I say stuff that I should have filtered out. Yeah, so I just think that would be a really good book to write. Oh my god, my battery's flashing. And then the last and final book on my list is called Voicemails from My Ex. This is also a very new idea. And basically, I kind of want this book to raise awareness for the fact that, or kind of raise awareness that boys suffer too, and it just kind of has that kind of feel to it that boys go through self-harm too, and they go through suicide problems and everything like that. And the Voicemails from My Ex, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, will be quite like that. Hi everyone, just a short interruption. I apologise for the state of my face. I am not wearing any makeup. It is currently December the 19th, and I just wanted to quickly talk about a novel idea that I have come up with very recently. And some of you will know that in, I want to say June, July sort of time, I did a co-writing project video then, and I mentioned the Water series. I don't know why I didn't talk about it in this video. Essentially, I think it was just because I kind of fell out of love with the idea. But I have recently come up with a new idea for it, so I thought I would quickly talk about it with you. Essentially, I wanted the Water series to be about depression and this girl battling depression. That has changed slightly because the new idea has two characters, and when I write this novel, it will be from two different views, from a boy and from a girl. And the boy goes through depression. His brother has just committed suicide, and so his story follows everything. His story, it's hard to explain. Everything in his story follows that incident, and the boy suffers with depression and major depressive disorder, and the girl actually suffers with self-harm, and she starts to become depressed, And these two characters meet because the boy starts working at a fish and chip shop, and the girl goes there every Tuesday and every Friday because she and her dad have fish and chips every Tuesday and every Friday. And that is how the boy and the girl meet. And the story then follows the two of them figuring themselves out, figuring out why everything is happening to them. And I didn't say this, but the girl also suffers with the grief of her older sister, I think, who died when she was 9, and the main girl has been self-harming since she was 9 to cope with the grief of her sister, because she really misses her sister, and their mum kind of left them when they were really young, and so the mum or the mother is not actually in the girl's story because obviously she left, and so it's just the girl and her dad. And I believe the girl is actually about 17, 18. I haven't figured it out quite yet, but I'm going to make this quick because I know this video is already really long. But I would really just like to say that the girl has her own life too. She does studies at college, and she also does swimming after college, about once or twice a week. And that obviously contributes to the rest of the story because she doesn't self-harm her wrists. She cuts her stomach, which is actually quite, serious. But I wanted to make it so that it was believable, and I feel like if she cut her stomach and she swims, it makes more sense. It makes more sense for me anyway, so I hope you can understand that. And yes, it's a very dark idea, but guys, when I get around to writing this book, I have to write it because I have experienced a lot with mental health, and the way I'm choosing to cope with that is to write it, is to write out my experiences, but in a way that it is fictitious. So I hope you can understand that, and I'm going to go now before this video gets even longer. Apologies, by the way. Don't forget, I vlogged yesterday. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll make sure to leave a link to it in the description down below. Back to the main video. That is all for my video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also subscribe down below if you wish to see more videos from me, and I will see you, oh my god, tomorrow for not the last video of December, but the last video of December before Christmas. On that note, have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you tomorrow for another video. Bye!